to MATTO'S Box Mania episode. This episode. What have we got for you today? We have got Firenze, or I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it could be Firenze or Firenze. I think it's Firenze. No, I don't think it's Firenze. I think it's Firenze. Firenze, like mascarpone or tagliatelle. Firenze. Or Firenze. Firenze. Anyway, any Italian speakers out there? Tell me how to pronounce it. Great. Firenze. That's what I think it is. So, now, this is a tricky box. Really nice looking box. Let's have a look at it. So that's the cover. It's a really beautiful cover. And then on the sides, I've got two sides because I might stack it vertically like this, or I might stack it horizontally. So I've put, that's what the one I'd probably do horizontally, and that's the one. That's the one I would do with it vertically. The light's not very good. So they're the two main important ones. This one I'm not quite so bothered about, and this one I'm bothered about least of all. A bit weird this, but if it's standing vertically, it's going to sit on that end. So that's why I didn't want to put that end on that end, because I think that's probably my best end, and that's once I rearrange my shelves, that's how it's going to be. Really nice looking game, and a nice Euro game. I enjoy it. Now, first thing is I have got this down to half the size, exactly half the size. It was a big old box. It was a really nice box that it came in, but it was a big old box. There weren't a lot in it. So it was one of those, what do you call them? Trough inserts. Trough? Canyon? I don't know. One of those inserts. And there wasn't a lot in it, so I've saved a ton of space for this one. It means I can get two games in there on my shelf. Now, this was a challenging box. And it was because the board didn't fit into my standard size. So anyway, let's show you the box, and then I'll talk about everything first, everything else. So, I'll talk about the challenges later, because someone might just want to see it. So there we go, and we got the board. And then underneath that, we've got the rules. And this is it. So I've got all the pieces in the bag in there. That was one of the challenges. Top box with the cards, a few bits here, all with my plastic bits so you can get them all out easy. These little player boards and the player pieces in underneath. So that's kind of the structure of the box there, that's in there. These again have these are easy to get out. They have the slopey plastic bits in there to be able to get them out easy. These have got the bits to get them out, the plastic bits so they don't get stuck in the corners. The neutral bits, not a lot of bits. And that's basically the box. What I also have is, because this was very tricky, I'll talk about all this later. So that is the box. So if that's all you want to see, you just want to see the box, then bog off. That's it. Don't have to stay any longer. But if you're a box head, let's talk about the problems and the difficulties of the build. Now, the first difficulty was the board. Now, the board was slightly bigger than the A4 boards that I put into these standard boxes. It was just 4mm bigger. You can see that, you know, the rule book. So the rule book is the classic A4 size, but you can see how much bigger that board is. So it wouldn't fit in my standard size box, but I really wanted it to fit in my standard size box. So what I've done right? I don't know if this is going to come out. The light's not very good in here tonight because one of my light bulbs broke. So this is a 4mm wide board. But what I did was I recessed. This is now this edge, and this edge is 2mm. It's 4mm up to there. But for the depth of the board, it's got a recess for the board to sit on in here. So this top little 8mm, that's the thickness of the board, is single thickness, and then it's double thickness for the rest. But I've also put a resting spot for the rules, because the rules are 1mm thick. So I've put an extra one on the inside for the rules to sit on, which is 1mm lower than the ones the board sits on. What a pain. And I'll tell you, to make it even more of a pain, look, you can see the recess here. Maybe. You know, so that's how it's recessed. Don't know if you can see now, it's not really very good. But I made this one. This was the first one I was making. And I buggered up my measurement, didn't I? I made it 3.1 tall on the inside instead of 3.3. I added 2.2 of them. I added 2mm instead of 4mm. And because I did that, everything was too small. It was too small. Those 2mm made all the difference. So I went to all the hassle of making that, and I buggered it up. Give me a slap, I deserve it. So, don't know what to do with that. What a bummer. But that was the first thing I had to think about was, am I going to be able to get that in there? And as it goes, I got it in there lovely. Fuss pants putting these rules in. It's not easy to get these rules in. It's a bit of a factory old box, this. But that's alright. And there's little stops in the end there to stop that board moving up. Because now. And then the second problem is the bits. Right, this has got loads of little bits in it. Let's just, while I think of it, because I'll forget otherwise, let's just do the shape test. Let's put it all back together. Put it all back together. D-R-D-D. Put it all in there. I love this box. Shape test. All still in there. Perfect. Now these bits are real fiddle-ass because they can come out really random and they're kind of at the limit of their heights. Yeah, the height of it that way is you know, is just a millimetre below the height of that. So you know, I gave thought of this, you know, because I've left them in the bag, you see, because again, I just want to, you bung them in the bag and bung them in the box, that's what I want. But because of the randomness, and I didn't want to make the box too high because I'm trying to save as much space as I possibly can, it's a bit of a fiddle-ass to get it all in. Now I also have the option, because I can't tell until I've used it a few times, that I could leave the pieces in there loose and put the bag up in that end bit there. So that's my spare bit. If I want to put the bag in there, that's fine. Because it might be easier to have the pieces loose in there, then it might be easier to, you know, shake the box and get them down. But it is a bit of a fiddle. It's when you get them on angles and a bit sticks up and then the board doesn't go down, it's a bit of a fiddle-ass. So that was a big consideration. And I did think, when I was working it all out in the thing, I thought, okay, the bag's going to take up that much. There's these and the cards and then a few poxy bits. And I thought, I've got tons and tons of room to do everything. So I didn't really plan it out. I didn't plan this half of it out particularly. And I kind of, you know, made it up as I went along. And suddenly I started to not run out of room, because I've got plenty of room, but I kind of started running out of room. And it got a bit tricky to, you know, to kind of do it. It was alright. I mean, ideally, these neutral pieces, you know, I wanted these in with the player pieces, but that's fine, they're out in every game. These pieces are a bit, the one, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the level pieces, they're kind of fiddly pieces, but it's nice to have them like this because you can pick them up and then shuffle them and then put them down, whereas when they're in the baggie they're a bit awkward. All these pieces in baggies are a bit of a pain. Bit of a pain. I think that's all to do with the box. You know, the tricky bit was the board. Getting that recess in there and getting the extra resource down. And what I should have done really, I should have put it all in one. It was a bit of a mistake. I should have put that all at the same height. So you put the board in first and then the rules just go on the top. That's what I should have done. I don't know quite what happened and why it ended up this way, but that's the way it's ended up. Sometimes you just make make decisions that seem sensible, and then afterwards it's a bit like a crap decision, wasn't it? And you got to live with it, because especially after bodging it once, I wasn't going to make it again. Now the lid. What's there to say about, you know, doing the artwork? It's tricky with the lid, you see, because again my standard box is slightly bigger than the old box, so the picture wouldn't fit on very well. It would have a line of black at the top of the bottom, so I've added this bit of colour. It's just a bit cut out of the box on the bottom, and it's a bit weird, but when you look at it, it looks alright. I think it looks alright. It's better to have the coverage, I think, because it didn't look quite as good if that was back, and then if it didn't have that, then there's an awful lot of black showing, and so I went with that. This is a problem I'm having with a lot of games. If you look at my Thebes one, I had to add bits on and be like that, and then doing all these sides was tricky because again the box was twice as thick, so I had to really work at getting something to look nice. And I've cut out lots of little sections to try and make it look nice. It looks all right. That one looks slightly different. I mean, this is nice with the Firenze slightly left of centre. This is the Firenze in the middle. And this picture, unfortunately, I've lopped his hands off, and I've lopped his drawing off. I had the choice: do I have him and that bit of drawing, or do I have the woman and the bloke? And I thought, have the woman and the bloke. That's real sweet. It's got some buildings in the background to give an idea. That's all fussy stuff. But you know, so this is all the stuff that I think about. This is all the stuff that I think about when I make my boxes. It's a little bit loose. I would have ideally liked to have got that just a little bit tighter, but it is what it is. And the other thing to mention, this has nothing to do with boxing, so I should make a video about this. This is the thing now that I've got for working out my artwork stuff. So you know, this is the sort of size of the box, and you know, so I can put this over. I talked about that with in my box making videos. I can put this over when I have a box to see what it looks like, especially if the box is bigger. But what I've done is this system here is really handy for working out these side bits. Do you know? So, just as an example, right, here's a box. I can cut this down, blooming loads. You know, you can see you've worked out the height of the side, and you can lay this over and see if you're going to be able to fit things in. You know, obviously that's a bit tight, but when you're trying to work out stuff, it's really handy to see if you're going to be able to fit bits on, you know, because right at the start I work out, you know, once I've worked out how everything's going to go in and I've worked out how high the box is going to be, I can set this to it and I can look and see, are the graphics going to fit, especially when you get something like this which is really thin. This is really thin, it's only 3.5 centimeters, and you know, it can be hard to get the graphics to fit, and if they don't fit, I might think, okay, let's try and, you know, what's the minimum I can make the box when I'm dealing with the graphics. And this thing can move up and down. This is revolutionary. I'm going to make a video about that in my box making video playlist. Anyway, that's it. Firenze, I love it. He's great, and I love her, and I love this because I'm a stonemason. I'm a letter cutter, really, but I can do basic, you know, stone cutting. And I mean, dry stone walling would be more my thing, apart from the letter cutting. I'm a top letter cutter, but that's why I love this Roman Trajan lettering, and it's all about building stone towers, drawings. Oh, love it. Firenze. See you later.